En versus le or la, or even L' with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. After watching the previous video about en and e, you know that the use of these pronouns depends on the prepositional verb. We use en with verbs followed with the preposition de. If you don't remember, you may have a look to this lesson. First part, en versus l'en, with anything except a verb. An example, j'ai acheté des pommes. So here we have our preposition des followed by a noun, pomme, to say in English, I bought some apples. So to replace des pommes with the pronoun in the first sentence, we will use en and we will say j'en ai acheté, and we put en before the verbs. J'en ai acheté, the translation is I bought some. Because en is for des pommes and pomme is plural and feminine, don't forget to add es at the end of the past participle acheté. J'ai acheté des pommes et j'en ai mangé une. So here the translation is I bought apples or some apples and I ate one. But in French we say I ate one of them, and to replace of them we say en et j'en ai mangé une, en again before the two verbs. J'ai acheté des pommes et j'en ai mangé une. We could say j'en ai acheté et j'en ai mangé une. J'ai acheté de l'eau. So it works with plural, but it also works with quantity. J'ai acheté de l'eau, singular. I bought some water. So if we want to replace de l'eau with a pronoun, here again, because of the preposition de, we are going to use en. J'en ai acheté. Eau is feminine in French, so we add a final e. I bought some. J'ai mangé la pomme qui est sur la table. The translation is I ate the apple that is on the table. J'ai mangé la pomme. Here we have no preposition like de or des or du or so ever. We just have a definite article, la. J'ai mangé la pomme. So to replace now la pomme with the pronoun, we are going to use the proper pronoun la, but la becomes L' when it is followed with a verb or with a word starting with a vowel. Je l'ai mangé. I ate it. More examples. J'en ai entendu parler. Yes, sometimes it's not obvious because it's a kind of idiomatic expression. J'en ai entendu parler means I've heard of it. And to say of it, in French we say en. So for example, in a conversation, someone says something to you and you say, oh yes, oui, j'en ai entendu parler. I've heard of it. Because the verb is entendre parler de with the preposition, but here in our sentence we can't see actually the preposition de, which is included in the pronoun en. J'en ai entendu parler. Another expression, j'en ai assez, with the meaning of I've had enough of it. And again, to say of it, here we use the pronoun en. The verb is avoir assez de, so again with the preposition de. So let's see now the second part, and it's a bit more complicated here. En versus le, but when we have two verbs in the sentence. For example, il m'a promis de venir. He promised to come. So here we have the verb promettre de, so with our preposition de, and another verb, venir, to come. In this case, to replace devenir with something, we use le pronom le, and we don't use en. So we have il me l'a promis. Again here le becomes L' because of the vowel. Il me l'a promis, he promised it to me. Okay? Let's take more example with several verbs. Je lui reproche de faire l'idiot. So here we have the first verb reprocher de, so with the preposition de, but it is followed with the verb faire, or faire l'idiot for the expression. I criticize him for acting like an idiot. Which pronoun are we going to use here? En or le to replace the expression de faire l'idiot, Well, because we have a verb, the verb faire, we are going to use le. Je le lui reproche. I criticize him for it. Je lui reproche de faire des bêtises. Here, as you can see, we have twice the preposition de, reproche de, and faire des bêtises. I criticize him for doing stupid things. If we want now to replace des bêtises, of course, bêtises is not a verb. So in this case, we are going to use, as usual, the pronoun en. Je lui reproche d'en faire. Because here we keep the second verb, faire. I criticize him for doing them, for doing some. More example, on nous interdit de faire du bruit. Again, in this example, we have twice the preposition de and du. We have been told not to make noise. On nous l'interdit. If you want to replace the whole second clause de faire du bruit, so here, because of the verb faire, we use the pronoun le, L'. On nous l'interdit. We have been forbidden to make some. On nous interdit l'entrée du restaurant. So here it's different because it's not a verb, it's the entrance. The entrance of the restaurant has been forbidden to us. In French we say on nous interdit l'entrée du restaurant. So here we will say on nous en interdit l'entrée. Why? Because it is du restaurant that we have replaced here by the pronoun en. On nous en interdit l'entrée. The entrance of it has been forbidden to us. So here, of it has been replaced by the pronoun en in French. More examples. On peut leur proposer de faire la vaisselle. We can suggest them to do the washing up. On peut le leur proposer. Again, we use here the pronoun le to replace the whole second clause, de faire la vaisselle, and again, because of the verb faire. We can suggest them to do it. Proposer here again, but with another meaning. Proposer actually in French have several meanings. Here to suggest. On peut leur proposer des pommes, here to offer. We can offer them apples, and you know that proposer is also to propose. So, on peut leur proposer des pommes. So now if you want to replace des pommes, you know what to do because pomme is not a verb. So, on peut leur en proposer. And here you can see we put en before the verb proposer. On peut leur en proposer. We can offer some to them. J'ai envie de pâtes. I want some pasta. So here for you, no problem. J'en ai envie. En. Why? Because actually, pâtes is not a verb, so de pâtes is replaced by the pronoun en. I want some. But if you want to say now, j'ai envie de faire des pâtes, with the meaning of I feel like cooking pasta, if you want to replace now des pâtes again, you will say j'ai envie d'en faire. J'ai envie d'en faire because en here is for des pâtes and you don't change the sentence because faire is kept here. I feel like cooking some. Okay? I hope it's not so difficult for you. C'est fini for this lesson. You can go to the new category of the website exercise and you will find an exercise to fill gap and to see if you understand when to use en, when to use the pronoun le or la or L'. Thank you for watching these slides with me. See you next time. Au revoir.